Say that shit with your chest. It's your boy Robbie. We back for a react. This is going to be coming from Poetic Flacco. Black men are celebrating the passing of this influencer. This has been the talk of the town all over Instagram, Black Twitter, just everywhere about Ashlee, Jenae, I think that's her name, Jenae. She went to Africa with her, I guess, fiance or husband, whichever one it is. And she apparently deleted herself, allegedly. And so it's got everybody speculating that, you know, there's something fishy about that. Now, I'm not going to be one of these brothers that's going to get on the internet and say she got what was coming to her. I'm not going to do that. I just feel like she might have just been misguided, and she unfortunately was unable to find her black king who would have treated her like the black queen she was. You know what I'm saying? But we're not going to waste no time. Let's get to the video.
This Ashlee Jenae story is one of the craziest stories I've seen on the internet in a very long time, and it got the entire internet divided. Ashlee Jenae is an influencer who has went viral for her content around her interracial relationship. She's dating an older white guy as a young black woman, and that's something that people gravitated towards. People like other people who wish to be in their own interracial relationships gravitated towards this. She would often flaunt the extravagant lifestyle that her white boyfriend was able to get for her. And from the outside looking in, they was the perfect couple, and she had it made. She was a young black girl in Miami who was able to bag a hedge fund manager. Her boyfriend was Joe McCann. He describes himself as a technology executive.
Y'all ain't gonna cap, and I'm getting to it early. I'm sitting up here saying to myself, what does a guy like that have that would allow him to pull a baddie like that? You know what I'm saying? Beautiful chocolate woman like that. How in the hell? Because it can't just be looks. You know what I'm saying? Like, I seen a picture on her Instagram of them at the beach. She's got a plot belly. You know what I'm saying? Not in shape. I'm like, he just totally doesn't fit the narrative of who she should even be with. You know what I mean? It's got to be the fucking money.
He's a hedge funds manager. He owns his own company. So the dude had a lot of money. And from the outside looking in, he was taking care of her and giving her a lot of that money. Even though there was no evidence to the contrary that they was a loving, devoted couple who was committed to each other and loved each other, people always had a bad feeling about this guy, Joe McCann. And her comment section would actually prove that. Now, it was unclear if these are just people commenting because, you know, they disagree with interracial relationships, or if they knew something that Ashlee and the rest of us didn't know. About 18 weeks ago, one user commented under a picture of her and Joe, and they wrote, "He is going to harm you, get out." 19 weeks ago, another user commented under a picture of her and Joe, and they wrote, "What a dummy. He will kill you, one the slave owner." Now, this person don't really seem like they had any type of like foresight or they knew any information about Joe. It just seems like hate, you know, which obviously we detest and disavow completely. But people had a bad vibe about this dude, and people were expressing it to her, but it didn't really seem like she was too concerned. About a week and a half ago,
of course not.
Ashlee and Joe went to—
Like I said, you know, just misguided. And I was talking to my cousin about this, about how our sisters, my black sisters, you know, are just so warped into this idea that everything has to be about money. You know what I'm saying? Well, here you have a perfect example of a woman who was with a dude with money, and she's not here anymore. She's gone. So what does that say? And nobody knows nothing. He don't know nothing. Nobody knows nothing. So what are we really saying here? You know what I mean? We got to nip that in the bud.
To this beautiful island in Africa called Zanzibar. They went there for vacation, but Joe had other plans for Ashlee. Joe had plans on proposing to Ashlee in Zanzibar. And when they got there, Joe proposed, and we've seen everything play out on social media.
I ain't gonna lie. And I don't know if this gets me canceled or anything like that. Listen, I'm not a racist, okay? I've said this on many of my videos. A racist, according to the textbook term, is someone who is of the belief that their group of people are superior to another, or that other group is inferior to them. And I in no way, shape, or form could be that because I've never been in a position of superiority in my lifetime, nor my people for real. So I couldn't possibly be racist. But what I will say is that I am of the ilk that we should date our own kind, honestly. We need to preserve our kind. You know what I mean? That's just how I feel. You know what I mean? I don't I don't know. When I see a beautiful chocolate woman like that with him, that shit does something to me. It doesn't make me like, yeah, I'm happy for her or anything like that, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, fam. And they say, oh, you can, people are allowed to love who they want. Listen, man, there is somebody that you can love, right? That looks like you. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with somebody like myself or other people like me that feel like, yo, just stick with your own kind, man. Like me, and this is just for me to go and, entertain dealing with a Caucasian woman or a woman that is not of, you know, me, she's not going to understand me. She's not going to get certain things, just my energy. It's something with the energy, man. You know what I mean? It's something about this melanin. It's unexplainable. You have to be it to understand it.
The engagement was also a birthday surprise for her as well because she turned 31 years old in Zanzibar and she posted her birthday pictures on April 5th. Right? Again, it looks like she was very happy to be in Zanzibar. She was very happy to be turning 31. The caption for the post says, Chapter 31, and I'm exactly where I need to be. She's feeding giraffes on her birthday. It looks like life couldn't get any much better for Ashlee, which is why the internet is absolutely stunned to find out that after Ashlee got engaged, after Ashlee was feeding giraffes, after Ashlee was talking about how life couldn't get any much better for her at this point, and that she's just turned 31 and she's exactly where she wants to be, after Ashlee expressed how grateful she was for life, the internet was stunned to find out that Ashlee was found dead shortly afterwards. And even more shocked that Joe was saying that Ashlee self-deleted herself, that Ashlee did it to herself and took her own life. A friend of Ashlee named Savannah Britt would take to social media and say, we need justice from our friend Ashlee Jenae, who was found dead in her hotel in Tanzania. And her fiance, Joe McCann, claims that she hung herself. Anyone who knows Ashlee knows she would never do this. We need answers now. Officials did confirm that Ashlee was found unresponsive in her hotel room by Joe. So Joe found her unresponsive, and Joe was claiming that she did this to herself. But if Joe and Ashlee is on vacation, then why was Joe gone long enough to where Ashlee would be able to do this? To me, that doesn't make sense, all right? And if this person...
Yeah, of course, there's fucking holes in the story, okay? She didn't off herself. She didn't delete herself or anything like that. He very much had something to do with that. I'm saying it. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? And guilty until proven innocent. All right. In the court of Robbie. Okay. You are guilty until proven innocent. And as far as I'm concerned, ain't no way you're gonna go and self-delete yourself when you got everything you could ask for. You courtside at Trailblazer games, you out there in Tanzania feeding giraffes, you got rose petals everywhere in one of the finest hotels or, villas or whatever. Why the fuck would you off yourself? Make it make sense, please. She ain't do that shit.
Person was in the mind state where they were going to do this, I feel like there would have been clear-cut signs. But her family is saying this is not even possible, right? And I'll be real, social media right now isn't buying this story either.
Okay, so at this point, let's just go ahead and lock up Joe and everybody else that believes his story, because you cannot for a second get me to believe that this woman hung herself. If you have not seen the news yet, this lady here is Ashlee Jenae. She's 31. She's an influencer. She has a very large following on Instagram. I'm not sure if she has a TikTok page. If she does, please tag it in the comments. This woman was in Tanzania for her 31st birthday. While they were there, he proposed to her somewhere along the lines of that proposal and the rest of that day, they got into an argument, according to him. They slept in separate rooms. That's where it's
Yeah, because he probably said he wanted a child, and she was like, "No, I ain't with that bullshit. We ain't having no kid." You know what I'm saying? She said something that, didn't sit well with his gears, and he said, "All right, I got something for you." You know what I'm saying? And here we are now.
starts to not click for me. They got into an argument after the proposal. Now, he's claiming that he went into her room and found her unresponsive. The family's claiming that he waited 2 days before he even called the authorities or the family to let them know what was going on. So he wants everybody to believe that he just walked in there and found her unconscious. He's claiming that she hung herself. She's in a foreign country on her birthday. She just got proposed to. According to the family, she is full of life. She's very positive and everything, but somewhere along the lines of this entire vacation, she hung herself. And it's what he wants people to believe. I'm not buying it.
Me neither. I ain't buying that
everybody
bullshit.
else that believes his story.
It's unclear if him waiting 2 days is confirmed, but what is confirmed is, yes, they did have an argument according to Joe. They went their separate ways. He goes to another room. She's in the room they booked. They don't speak, according to Joe, for a while. He comes back to check up on her because he hasn't heard from her. He finds her unconscious and unresponsive.
So what the fuck did you do? Did you slip something into her drink or something like that just totally took her out? How does it that y'all have a disagreement, an argument, have separate rooms, and then all of a sudden she's unresponsive and now she's gone? Man, miss me with that dumb shit, man. Miss me with that, please.
I don't know too many people, especially too many Americans, who's waiting to go to Africa and to do that to themselves, bro.
Facts.
I'm thinking that if somebody will want to do that to themselves, it'll be somewhere right and familiar. I don't think that that young woman is saying, "Hey, I'm in Africa where my family is nowhere around me. I have nobody around me that knows me other than this man who I'm currently beefing with and arguing with. Let me do this to myself in a foreign land." I just don't think that's plausible at all. I don't. I do think something nefarious took place here. And the family also thinks so too, because the family released the full statement, and here what they had to say. The family statement writes, Ashlee Robinson was on what should have been one of the happiest trips of her life, a birthday celebration in Zanzibar, Africa. Ashlee's birthday was April 5th. She just turned 31. Surrounded by beauty, love, and wildlife, she became engaged during a safari, an unforgettable moment that marked the start of a future she was excited to build. She and her fiancé, Joe McCann, was staying in a luxury villa at the Zori Zanzibar, continuing what we believe was her dream trip. But just days later, that dream turned into our family's worst nightmare. Ashlee was found unconscious in her villa and was rushed to a local hospital where her death was confirmed hours later. Nothing about this loss feels real. One moment she was celebrating love and life in truly Ashlee fashion, and the next she was gone. The suddenness, the unanswered questions, and the distance from home have made this tragedy even more overwhelming for our family. At this time, there is an active investigation into the circumstances surrounding Ashlee's suspicious passing. Although we have many questions, we are placing our trust in the officials in Zanzibar and are working closely with them as we seek clarity and answers. I'll be real, bruh, with family right now. If you trust African authorities, the police in Africa, if you trust the police in Africa to prosecute and to seek answers in the death of your daughter that involves a really, really, really wealthy white man, you're out of your mind, bro. All right. I'm African myself, and I'm here to tell you right now, bro, these African officials are corrupt, and they going with whatever the rich white man got to say, bro. Y'all got to hire a private investigator. These officials ain't doing a goddamn thing. But it goes, Ashlee was deeply loved. She was vibrant, full of life, and has so much ahead of her. Our family is completely devastated, and we appreciate.
This is what I be saying, though. People, I know I'm stopping the vid, but people speak so highly of going back to Africa. And I'm not going to say, Africa is a beautiful country and stuff like that. But the mindset of the people, even over there, a lot of them are just as, warped in the head as African Americans. You know what I'm saying? They too, put you know, people that don't necessarily look like them up in high esteem. You know what I'm saying? Same shit over there too.
The prayers and compassion we have received as we navigate the unimaginable laws. We respectfully ask that any information
And I'm not
directly provided
generalizing
by our family
everybody. I'm saying
be
a few,
treated as
not everybody.
unverified and not considered factual at this time. This is where the story takes a turn and it turns into a gender war. So some black men are going back and finding her social media posts and conduct, and they're saying, hold on. Based off what we found belonging to Ashlee, her death ain't our issue. It ain't our business. We is minding our business and staying out of it. I don't want to go as far as saying they're celebrating her death because of these posts, but they're not really too sad or showing any type of remorse or sympathy for her because of these posts. So one post, Ashlee wrote, "Every day black men wake up and find new ways to embarrass us."
See, and that's what I'm saying. That's what you call somebody being misguided. Because then I could go as far as to say that every day, you know, Caucasians find a way to just fuck up life and make shit hard for people. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I could say. We're in a war right now. Gas prices are out of control. Rent is out of control. And that is not at the helm of people that look like us. Because again, we've always been at the disadvantage. We don't make anything. We don't create anything anymore. We just go along, get along with whatever everything else everybody else is doing. You know what I'm saying? So you could say that. You know what I mean? Like, black men in this country, and I'm not trying to make excuses or anything like that, but us black men in this country are always at a disadvantage. There's always this, he got to get to a bag. He's got to do this. Well, what you have to understand is that a black man is only able to do or ascend to where he needs to ascend as long as it's within the idea that someone else made. You want us to succeed in the Caucasian man's world. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'm not a racist, but you want us to succeed in this white man's idea of what life is. Rent, mortgage, taxes, a business, things like that. You know what I mean? Like, it's the type of shit you got to think about.
Another post, Ashlee says that, you know, that she's been wanting mixed kids since the 3rd grade. She would write, "I've been saying since the 3rd grade my children will be mixed. Laugh my A off." In another post, and this appears to be an Instagram comment, Ashlee would write, "Oh, brother, I see 305 in your bio. Let's talk about all the Miami men, not the white ones, though." Again, she says, "Let's talk about all the Miami men, not white. Beating their women still. Or is that too touchy? Go live your life while I live mine." In response to these posts resurfacing, one user says, "The woman that died explicitly excluded pink men from committing this kind of violence. That's the point." Somebody says, "Oh my damn." Somebody says, "It gets worse. Shaking my head. This MF basically said white men don't beat or harm women. LOL. Couldn't believe my eyes when she said this. Shaking my head." Somebody says, "Yikes." Somebody says, "Yikes, but still not right." Right? So, and if you go on social media right now, you hear the discourse of, man, why should we feel bad because of this? Why should we feel bad? You feel me? She ain't rock with black men. She ain't like us. She was online disparaging us and saying mean things about us. Why should we feel sorry? Now, this same argument was here when that dude who was murdered by his white woman in the elevator, that dude, when his death went viral and people went back and found his extremely anti-black women post on Twitter, on Facebook, everywhere, people say, you know what? Well, black women say, you know what? We staying out of this one. This dude did not like black women at all. Now, with this Ashlee post, for like her comment was directed towards somebody else commenting on her post. Her saying she always wanted mixed babies since the 3rd grade, things like that. Fine. All I can say is I'm still going to pray for this family. I'm still going to seek justice for this woman. I'm still not going to hold this against her. She's dead. I feel like death is the ultimate redemption. Once you pass away, I feel like you should be forgiven for a lot of what you do. Again, not all now, all right? If you was touching babies, if you was murdering people when you pass away, bruh, hey, man, ain't no forgiving that, man. But for things like this, silly things like this, man, you should be forgiven in your death. But y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think, man? Are you guys holding this against her? Do you?
I'm gonna cut it short there. It's the end of the video. I mean, I would say in that situation, yeah, she was obviously misguided. Some childhood trauma must have happened to her. Maybe, there was some kids, some black boys when she was growing up that might have said things about her or called her out her name or said she wasn't cute and stuff like that. And so those childhood traumas transitioned to her adulthood. And so she had this vendetta against black men, and she likely had a black father. I would then beg the question, where was he? And if he was in her life, did he talk words of encouragement, tell her that she was beautiful and things like that? Because for this to ultimately be the outcome and she's not here, it says a lot about where we are as black men and black women. And this ought to be a lesson that we need to come together and unify, get everybody the fuck out of our business, and we worry about our business. You know what I'm saying? How we communicate with each other, how we relationship with each other. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else just shut the fuck up and stay out of our business. You know what I'm saying? And I say that respectfully, Like I said, I'm not a prejudice or nothing like that, but my people. You feel me? My people. I'll be sure to link this video in case y'all want to check out some more of his stuff. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. Make sure you check the like button, hit the subway, and be sure to sound off in the comment section until security kicks your asses out. I definitely want to know what y'all think about this situation. But with all that being said, it's your boy Robbie. Till the next video, we gone.